The most beautiful places in the world. The most beautiful villages in Italy. Positano. Italy is home to some of the most spectacular, art-filled cities out there, but the country's true charm lies in the countryside, where life revolves around the piazza and the sweetness of doing nothing reigns supreme. Overflowing with old-world romance and handsome medieval architecture, these delightful little spots seem made for meandering along time-worn, cobbled lanes framed by blushing bougainvillea, feasting on sublime pasta and local wine in tiny, unpretentious trattorias, and watching the world go by in picturesque wisteria-shaded squares. From hilltop medieval borghi frozen in time to gelato-toned fishing hamlets spilling down to the sea, these are the most beautiful villages in Italy. Positano. A postcard of a town along Campania's astonishing Amalfi Coast, Positano is the embodiment of Italian chic. Its pastel-hued houses cascade down sheer craggy cliffs to hug the twinkling azure waters of the Adriatic, while steep stairs and alleys meander their way past stylish boutiques and delightful outdoor restaurants. As far as Positano accommodation goes, nothing says romance better than a luxury hillside villa with bougainvillea-clad terraces and sublime vistas. Basking in Mediterranean glow, the following properties have dreamy outdoor spaces, lavish interiors with a timeless patina, and, best of all, are exposed to the enchanting sea and coastal views. History. The first evidence of a settlement in Positano dates back to the Upper Paleolithic, when the Grotto La Porta was frequented by gatherers and hunters. This small cave, located at 120 m OSL and at 10 m on the highway, it was a very wide time of which it is still possible to distinguish the terminal part and two niches. In 1955, Antonio M. Radmilli, University of Pisa, organized several surveys to identify prehistoric visits, both on the surface and in some caves. During the excavations, several fossils emerged, some of which are malacological like shells of mollusks, while the fauna is represented by the remains of mammals, wild boar, ibex, deer and roe deer, birds, amphibians, and fish. The findings made it to be assumed that the people who frequented the caves had an economy based mainly on the collection of mollusks, while hunting for birds and mammals was rather marginal. The climate of Positano is very mild, of the Mediterranean type. The winters are very warm with minimum temperatures that almost never fall below 6 degrees Celsius (43 degrees Fahrenheit), while the summers are long, warm and sunny but often refreshed by the sea breeze. Thanks to the mild temperature and the beauty of the landscape, Positano has been a holiday resort since the time of the Roman Empire, as evidenced by the discovery of a villa in the bay. Typical are the many staircases that from the top of the village connect the upper districts with the valley area. The main beaches are Spiaggia Grande, Fornillo, La Porta, Fiumicello, Arienzo, San Pietro, Loreto, and Remise, some of which can also be reached by sea. Roman era. The first archaeological evidence dates back to the 1st century BC, when luxurious Roman villas were built on the coast of the Sorrento Peninsula. Romans began settling at Positano around 100 years BC. 3. In Positano, one occupied the bay and the other extended on the island of the Long Rooster, a typical example of how even more hidden spaces of a wild coast were used in the Claudian age without even respecting the rocks that, according to legend, would have served as the home of the sirens. These villas belong to the dispersed type, that is, formed by different structures, not grouped together, delimited by gardens. The names of the owners are not yet known, but they are certainly elitist contexts. The Villa di Positano was described for the first time by Carl Weber in 1758, who then oversaw the excavations in Herculaneum and Pompeii. At the beginning of the 1900s, Mingazzini and Pfister carried out some essays to better understand the structure of both the Bay of Positano and the Gallo Lungo. Maiuri describes some remains, still visible in the 1960s, as a peristyllium of stuccoed brick columns. The complex has been the subject of systematic excavations since 2003, which have affected the area below the oratory of the Santa Maria Assunta Church, and the site was inaugurated on July 18, 2018, with the name of MAR, Roman Archaeological Museum, Santa Maria Assunta Positano. The beach at Positano. Positano became a wealthy market port from the 15th to 17th century and has only continued to grow in popularity over time. Back then, they traded food such as fish and other resources. Positano was a port of the Amalfi Republic in medieval times, and prospered during the 16th and 17th centuries. More than half the population emigrated, mostly to America. By the mid-19th century, however, the town had fallen on hard times. Positano was a relatively poor fishing village during the first half of the 20th century. It began to attract a large number of tourists in the 1950s, especially after John Steinbeck published his essay about Positano in Harper's Bazaar in May 1953. Positano bites deep, Steinbeck wrote. It is a dream place that isn't quite real when you are there, and becomes beckoningly real after you have gone.